and welcome back to my channel. Today we are here at the Montgomery Mall in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, and this is my childhood mall. I grew up in this area, and I went here a lot in middle school, maybe a little in high school. So we're gonna walk around and see what it's like now, because this mall has been going through a lot. They renovated it around 5 years ago, and recently there's been issues with bankruptcy, or I think they defaulted on their loans and it was just sold to a different company. And in this spirit, I'm wearing my favorite jacket from high school that I got in South Philly.
So right off the bat, when I first drove here to film this video, I was surprised by the amount of people here. Granted, it was also Black Friday, the biggest shopping day of the year. This mall was built in 1977 by the Kravco company, but that was way before my time. It was sold to Simon Property Group in 2003. When I started coming here in the 90s, there were 4 anchors: Macy's, JCPenney's, Strawbridge's, and Sears. Strawbridge's became Boscov's, which then was later demolished to build the Wegmans, which is attached to this mall but you can't enter it from inside the mall. Which doesn't make that much sense to me, but they basically share a wall and a parking lot. They also added a Dick's Sporting Goods and other restaurants accessible from the parking lot around the same time. Currently, the mall still has JCPenney and Macy's, but the former Sears location is still closed. I think it was recently used as a vaccination site. Earlier this year, this mall was foreclosed upon by Wilmington Trust because the owners couldn't pay their loans. The mall was then sold to Cohen Retail Investment Group. So a lot of things have changed in this mall. When I first started coming here, there was a very 90s color scheme of white tile, dark green marble, light turquoise green painted metal railings, and light pink and cranberry colored accents throughout. Also, there was a lot of palm trees and plants in large pots. Most of that was replaced with glass and beige stone, but you can still see some of the green marble throughout the first floor. This place used to be packed in the early 2000s. In middle school, I remember it being pretty crowded on Friday nights, maybe 3 times as many people that were here today. And the area by the entrances were always covered in a crowd of kids waiting for their parents to pick them up. It's interesting because I still saw crowds of kids shopping together, so maybe this hasn't completely died off. So I don't need to talk to you about the cultural imprint the mall had from the 80s to the 2000s. That's why the decay of this seemingly untouchable facet of American life especially in the suburbs, has been so fascinating to people online the past couple of years, to the point where the dead mall itself is now a cliche. I watch a lot of dead mall videos starting around a couple years ago because I was watching a lot of abandoned exploration videos. But these dead malls weren't abandoned yet, just failing and out of date, mostly empty. Often these videos either focused on the dated architectural motifs or now defunct chain stores to evoke a feeling of nostalgia to people who went to malls a lot in their childhood. Watching these videos and reading the comments, you see people lamenting the good old days and how they're gone, or the downfall of American life. It's kind of like the intersection of socioeconomic trend discussions, quirky 80s, 90s, nostalgia aesthetics, and retail business case studies. Anyway, I just find this nostalgia for malls interesting and funny, even though I personally don't have warm fuzzy feelings towards malls. I've always been interested in failed real estate development projects from excess, like those giant housing developments that people gave up on after the housing bubble burst. And although I kind of hated growing up in this area, now that I've moved away and had some emotional and physical distance from my hometown, I can appreciate the lack of beauty and culture in this mess of suburban sprawl and SUVs in like kind of an ironic way. There's this book called Severance by Ling Ma. Spoiler alert, if you want to read this book and care about spoilers, skip to the next section. But it's about a zombie apocalypse, but there's kind of a twist where people only become infected when they feel nostalgia. It's about a lot of things, but there's this part in the book where the narrator meets a group of survivors that are trying to reach a save point described as the facility by the leader of the group. When they get there, the narrator realizes that the facility is just an abandoned mall. Because of deteriorating relations in the group, the narrator becomes imprisoned by the leader of the group and can't leave. It's revealed that the leader wanted everyone to travel to this specific mall in the middle of Illinois because it was actually his childhood mall that he later bought. The narrator then realizes that his nightly walks around the mall aren't him patrolling the area, but that he has become infected. She is unable to escape. I feel like I'm the opposite of the man that wanted to travel across the country during a zombie apocalypse to start a new life in his childhood mall, and I'm the opposite of these people that bemoan the fall of malls in YouTube comment sections because I don't have these like take me back vibes towards malls. But in the small world that was my childhood, the mall was important. Maybe because there wasn't much else in this area, but also represented everything that I hated and couldn't have. I couldn't shop at Hollister or fit in popular groups at school. I hated normie culture or white culture or whatever I had to understand it and adapt to. So maybe I'm kind of enjoying the downfall of malls, both as an arbitrator of fashion and style and as a social space. The trendiest stores at my childhood mall today is probably H&M or Forever 21, both of which aren't really trendy. The Zales diamond store had a girl with blue hair working there, and the mall has been overtaken by anime merch and sports memorabilia stores. The latter of which may have annoyed me before, but now that I don't live in the Philly area anymore, the Eagles fandom isn't in my face 24/7, so it's kind of more like a quirky regional thing. Which brings me to my last point, which is maybe I do feel some mall nostalgia. It's kind of weird and sad that most of the culture I grew up around consists of chain stores, but that's what I had. If I could eat Sbarro chicken Francis over spaghetti again in that food court, with the green and pink tiles and tall palm trees reaching to the skylights, I might. And I know that's not how you pronounce chicken francese or whatever, but yeah.